Yo, what's going on, guys? I want to share my journey through reading books. Well, first off, reading this book. My journey overall, just pursuing my intuition on what the things that I should learn, self-teaching, and just realizations. One of the main things about myself is that I operate based on intuition. So the biggest thing that I talk about is the ability to connect to your soul and follow your intuition. So understand who you are at the deep level, and then moving from that intelligence. And so you cut out the noise and you really just move forward in a way that is authentic and in a way that is also intuitive. And by intuitive meaning, synchronistic and in my experience, also synesthetic. Basically, synthetic. In a way that is synthetic in that I am synthesizing things on the go. I started learning this book, Structure and Interpretation of Computer Programming, and it's a mouthful. Like every page is dense. It's the first book that I've gotten into regarding computer programming, and it's new for myself. And so the pages are super dense. Yet I am seeing myself change and develop a better relationship to programming. And I switched to Linux a while ago, and even just typing in the command line and seeing that it's not just things that I'm typing and things that are happening. It's like processes that are happening, processes that I'm activating, and it turns into a conversation with the computer. Now, one of the biggest things that I've learned around self-learning and self-education is the ability to interpret and visualize through interpretation. So a lot of people, individuals, and I work with students who are learning to read also. People who read but cannot visualize what they read struggle understanding the meaning of what they're reading. All right, so visualization is a key aspect of learning, period. And so when I'm reading something like, Structure and Interpretation of Computer Programming, SICP, one of the things that I'm recognizing is that I really need to understand every single segment, every single block, every single piece that constructs the sentence. And so, before I got into the book, I was looking into a little bit about linguistics. I was looking into linguistics a little bit, and I'm also looking into just memory techniques. And nothing heavy that I've applied yet, but the thing that I'm seeing is if I don't understand the parts, there's no way I'm going to get the whole. Now you can intuit the whole through conceptual thinking, but that becomes very difficult when you're working with something as technical as SICP. So it goes back to, when I was learning calculus, I would spend hours just, dedicating deep work to both my physics and my calculus, and I also had chemistry. So I was getting 4.0s in college. But what I've been struggling to do is kind of just figure out how do I want to structure my life, because I have a business that I want to grow. I also have a family that I'm growing. And I also want to grow in my education. So I don't have the luxury of being single, having a full ride, and being able to have the time to just spend hours on material. It's just a whole different thing. Now I am figuring it out. I am also understanding I'm in a different phase of my life, and I'm also finding opportunities to integrate all of these aspects in a way that I don't feel pressured, I don't feel like I'm behind, and I'm actually making progress. Now, with that being said, talking about SICP, I've been dedicating, an hour or hopefully more a day to trying to understand the pages and the vocabulary that's going on, and it's really, really reconfiguring the way that I see the world, the way that I see things. I'm seeing how intensive it is on the math. I'm also feeling the logic in my brain just be built. And so there's a lot to be said about, you could talk about with the rise of AI. I think we're just getting into the beginning of what we can do with computers. I think that right now, yes, I am vibe coding. I've also been vibe coding. But I don't think it's vibe coding anymore. I think that it's kind of like it's a manner of being able to plan things and think about structure and think about these things. And so, you know, the idea is, if I can construct something from the top down, you know, I'm using AI as a thing that will construct from the bottom up. And through education, I'm narrowing that gap between bottom up and top down. Then that's the golden zone, right? Now, the golden zone, in terms of like, I'm thinking this is making me think about education. I think at the end of the day, I think there's something here that can apply to things just beyond the computer science and AI. One of them being that the golden zone could be what the book and the class or the information is, and then your top-down understanding of it, which is a concept. And so you can't really operate in a way that allows you to operate in that golden zone unless you have a top-down process. And by a top-down process, I mean, are you thinking conceptually? Are you constructing concepts in your mind as you are progressing, or are you just learning, memorization, or are you just trying to solve problems, or you're just trying to get it done? And if you're just trying to get it done, then the learning isn't really going to happen, because there's no engagement happening from the top down. Okay, and this goes back to the visualization, because, you know, abstraction is top down. You know, if we talk about concepts, they are abstract. And so if we want to be able to, what I'm really talking about here, the golden zone is really the place where you're manifesting spirit into physical reality. Now, computer science is such a powerful tool right now for myself, powerful model, because the book itself talks about how processes are like spirits that are running a computer. And so you are a wizard in creating processes and writing down programs. You are a wizard, a sorcerer of some sort, a sorcerer of sorts. And because of that, you know, I think people, that's cool. It sounds cool, right? But there's more to it. I think that there's way more to it. Like, the individual who can understand at a more, Abraham Hicks law of attraction point of view, you'll see that, it's through logic that I construct reality. You know, it's through logic that I construct systems, that I construct applications, that I construct programs. Now, the parallel to this, and I think it really is the simplest thing, my heavy thing has always been psychology. I've always been a beast at psychology. I always understood it, and also self-reflection and meditation. Those are the things that I use as powerful tools that I have. Now, I'm seeing there's a very, very, very thin, like, separation between, that can almost be elusive, between law of attraction and just computer science. You know, just the law of creation, manifestation, and computer science. Because beautiful code is really just something that makes sense and can be understood and is super clear, right? Now, that's obviously a very much like simplification of what good code is, because obviously I haven't been coded, I'm just starting. But what I'm understanding is that good code makes sense. Good code is clear. It is clear. It is well thought out. It is in line with the concept. It matches the concept as clear as possible. And so, you know, the process itself of coding is an iterative process. It's a recursive process. Like, the idea of writing down the code, having the program happen, experiencing the program, then coming back and updating the program, it's a never-ending process of iteration. And it's the same way with law of attraction. Like, with the subconscious, if you have positive thoughts and you are running these thoughts in a recursive loop where you have thoughts, you generate a reality, you go back to what thoughts constructed that reality, and then you do it again, and so you continue to refine your life so that you generate the perfect reality that's most suitable to you, that which is, you know, the perfect reality that's most suitable to you is the one that is constructed from your concept, the concept of you, which is really the concept of your soul, which is really the concept of you in your divine essence. So there's a big gap here, there's a big leap that I'm taking, but what I'm basically sensing is that first off, I'm equipping myself with a powerful tool, one made out of logic and mathematics, that will allow me to construct the reality that I desire. And through discovering this new way of thinking, new perspective, I'm expanding my previous perspective, which is that of creation, manifestation, meditation, contemplation, truth. I'm expanding that, and that is within itself being reinforced by the logic of programming, which is insane, but it's happening right before my eyes. It's like I feel powerful. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, I think the biggest thing is that it doesn't have to be computer programming. At the end of the day, the individual who has the capacity to think conceptually will forever be looking to bring these concepts into a closer realm of experience. If you think conceptually, then you are always tied to the essence of the thing that you're engaging with. And so in the development and in the relationship of the thing itself, you are kind of like chipping away at the things that are not it. For example, if I'm engaged with this process called dance, with this entity called dance, I can sense the essence, and that's the essence that brings me joy. And through time, through years, through more time, through more contemplation, through more reflection, I'm able to sense the pure essence of the thing, which is, in this case, dance. And I'm able to get into much closer relationship to it because I see that more so than I see what it is not. Okay? Now, this could be a whole other video, but I'm already arriving to the grocery store and my son just fell asleep. So the point that I was getting at was that conceptual thinking is actually your top-down process that allows you to bring spirit from the top to engage with the bottom-down process of practicality and engagement, basically. And the conceptual thinking allows you to basically bring spirit down into earth to mold and be actualized. And so a conceptual thinker is really a magician, somebody who can think in concepts, who can visualize a concept and engage with that concept directly rather than listening to any other depiction of it, interpretation of it, manifest the true essence of the thing much more rapidly. And so when we're talking about something like computer science and furthering a domain, what we're really wanting to see is the conceptual thinkers coming into a relationship with the thing and stripping it of everything that it is not. Because right now what is happening with something like AI, it is stripping what the common conception of what people have of computer science. And to be honest, I have seen computer scientists, and obviously not everybody, but I think a lot of people have this really simple way of seeing it. It's too simple. I think that you should be able to marvel at the beauty and the power that something like computer science brings, the message that it sends, and being able to exist during this time. I think that through the melding of all of these things, computer science, physics, math, once you start to synthesize these concepts, once you start to grab a little bit of computer science and you start to synthesize it, your world changes. And so when we're looking at something like computer science, which is within itself a process of actualization of concepts, and you start to play with that, then some really crazy things can happen. And so people are surprised by AI, but what people should be more surprised by is how underlooked computer science is right now. And overall, the biggest thing though is not that you need to go study computer science. The biggest thing is that realizing that your capacity to look at the concept and think conceptually is going to be what accelerates the manifestation of the essence of the thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Now, If you have a desire for a relationship, you have to understand what your concept of a relationship is. When you understand what your concept of a relationship is, then you have power, because you might realize that your concept of a relationship is not the same as everybody else's. And whether your concept is closer to the truest essence of what it means to be in a relationship with something, that is something for you to figure out. Because your internal concept might not reflect what Spirit's concept of relationship is. And so that's why you go to these spiritual teachings, because these spiritual teachings are not only universal, they've been honed in on for years. They're not just based on science. They're not just based on what we know now. They are based on something ethereal. And so for myself, that's how I started for me. I wanted to know, what does it mean to be myself? What is that concept of myself? What is self, right? Refining it, just continue to refine it. And so you continue to refine these things, and you breathe in the pure thing of itself, and and from then on, you construct amazing things, an amazing life, an amazing way of seeing things. And so that's the journey. But anyways, all of that is just to share my experience reading this book. This book, bro, if I could fanboy this, I'm going to be fanboying it for a good while. I think that this thing is full of juice, some gold. $40. If I spend $40 on this, man, it's worth 1,000, because of the amount of things I'm going to learn. I think it's priceless. All right, so I'm going to get back to doing my thing. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Stay lucid. Peace.